Hello folks, thanks for joining us for another Kickstarter preview. Today we're having a look at Gartenbau. Apparently this means horticulture in German. And this is designed by Alex Johns and David Abelson from Heaton. And we're going to give you a quick look at what it's like, so you can see what the gameplay is like, what the general feel and decisions you can make in the game is like. And then we'll show you gameplay, because we'll do a section where the three of us were playing it. And with me, I have to show you is Michael.
Hello.
Carla. Hello. And myself, Jason. Alright, so what are we doing? We're basically building the best garden that we can. To do that, we each start with a random starting seedling tile. These should be double-sided, but I've just printed out the one side. So they will have a different mixture of starting seedlings. So I've got a yellow flower, blue flower, green flower, and orange flower. Not that that makes any difference to you guys. And then we also have a random selection. Now, we're doing the preset one where you can start off with a preset starter flowers, but you could also do a draft, and that's the general way that you would normally play once you've played a few games, is that you get a handful of flower tiles, pick one, move them on, and then you're drafting out your end game scoring stuff. So for example, this one is just flat out 24 points. That one's 6 points for each combination of those that you get, and so on and so on.
Lets you kind of like draft your victory conditions, which is quite an interesting way of doing it. So you're trying to draft complementary ones so they'll work well together. Like, you don't want one that will require you to have loads of uncovered seedlings, and then another one which requires you to have no uncovered seedlings. They would be working cross purposes.
That's why you don't start off with just any random ones. You can draft them. We also start, this is obviously just written out, we start with 3 special tiles. That's right, these are really high class quality components.
And not to be judged. Don't judge the game by our handwriting, please.
Yeah, I'm pretty certain they'll come as nice cardstock in the actual game.
No, this is exactly how it comes. This is obviously prototype components. But you get 3 special tiles: the trowel, the wheelbarrow, and special delivery. They're worth victory points at the end of the game if you don't use them, but they give you some mitigation on what you want to do on your turn. So for example, the wheelbarrow allows you to take extra plants, the trowel allows you to swap seedlings, etc, etc.
Quite like the fact that they're worth victory points.
Yeah.
If you don't use them, so it rewards you for not using them. Otherwise, you just can't use it randomly at whatever you wanted.
Exactly, yeah, I think that's a really good idea. And then we have 2 resources. We have sun resources and water resources, because obviously all plants need water and sun to live. And then finally we have a deck of seedling cards and a deck of plant cards, or level 2 seedlings, whichever way you want to look at it. And the object of the game is to, the game will end when either this seedling deck runs out, or one player places all 4 of their flowers. Once all 4 flowers are placed, everyone gets equal amount of turns, and then you do final scoring. What you're trying to do on your turn is you have 4 actions. First action you can do is take one of these seedling plants. The first one is the cheapest one you can take. Everyone after that you have to pay a resource. So Michael, just demonstrate.
So if you wanted to buy this third one in, you'd have to put a resource on the ones before it in the line to make them more advantageous to take for a future player.
Exactly. So if I take that, this shuffles down, a new one comes out, and if anyone takes, like Mike said, anyone takes one of those, they'll get those bonus resources from that. A lot of other games use that as well. The other option you can do is you can take a plant. The plants tell you, for example, if I wanted to buy this, it cost me 1 water and 1 sun, and it has to go on a double blue. So for example, if I have this like that, which you cannot see at all, like that, I could, because this is 2 different tiles, they can't be the same tile. So if I had a double blue starter, for example, this can go over that, overlapping those 2 blue seedlings, forming a nice blue flower, or plant rather. And this is worth 2 points. But later on, if I have a blue and a double green, I can then place that flower overlapping that, which will then give me more points, but covering up these points.
Quickly show you an example if you like, because I've got one in my hand.
Oh, okay.
So if you put that one there, you could put your green flower there, and then this one, as you can see in the bottom, requires you to have a green and a blue flower. You can then build that on top of there. So you can like stack it up as you go.
Yeah.
And
so
the bigger cards, the flower cards, are generally worth more victory points than the smaller ones.
Yeah, and this one gives you end-game scoring. So you're covering up the 4 points with potentially a lot more points.
That one's worth 6 points for every set of seedlings uncovered that you have the most of at the end of the game. So there's a really wide variety of different scoring conditions.
So that's the second action you can take, which is obviously take one of those flower Level 2, the third action is plant a flower from your hand, which we just showed you there. Then the fourth action you can take is to take some resources, which you can take a combination of 3. So you could take 2 sun, 1 water, or 1 sun, 2 water. And that's it. Those are the 4 actions you do on your turn. Keep going round and round until someone's placed 4 of these or empty the deck. And then we do final scoring and see who's the winner, which will probably not be me.
It's worth mentioning that there is a domino effect when it comes to the actual placing of the tiles. You don't need to see my face, you need to see the board. So for instance, that is an acceptable placing because you're placing blue on blue. But for instance, this flower here can only, even if you wanted to get the yellow over here, that'd be fine, or somewhere near the red. If for instance you had a flower out already, that would count as a, we assume it would count as a pink flower because that has to be 2 pinks.
Or...
So it would replicate that. So there's some strategy in how you place your seedlings and then placing your flowers on top.
Yeah, you got to think far ahead as you know what you do.
You've got to look at your flowers and then think, how am I going to position all of this? But whether the seedlings come up to allow you to do that, that's debatable.
I think it's also quite appropriate. The sun shining nice and bright through the curtain there.
Helping the game grow.
Yeah. All right, so let's get started and we'll be back with the gameplay. All right, so you join us for the gameplay. We've had a few rounds already to get us garden started. This is what my garden looks like, bathed in sunlight, as you may have noticed. So that means you can't see anything on the camera. But Carla's is a little easier to see as hers is very compact.
Much neater than yours.
Yeah.
Yours is sprawling and a mess.
It's more like weeds.
Yeah.
That's Mike's. Alright, so Mike is the first player. He's about to go. I'm going to aim this at the display in the front here and then I'll just move it when Mike does his turn. Right, so tell us what your action's going to be.
So my action, I am going to take a seedling. So the seedlings come from the seedling deck. When you take a seedling, you have to put 1 resource of your choice, either the water or the sun, on all the seedlings that are this side of it. So I'm going to go for this particular seedling here, meaning I'm going to choose water, place 1 there. You take your seedling, this deck moves along, and then you fill up from that side. So it means if some get not taken at the front, they build up an amount of resources on them, and in the end people are just going to take them because you get 3 resources.
That's right.
So over here I'm going to take my red one. It has to touch at least one other red one. So mine's going to plug in here. So gives me a couple of red ones next to each other.
And then over to you, Carla. What are you going to do? I don't even have to move yours because everything's perfectly in shot.
I'm actually going to place a flower.
Ooh.
So my flower's requirement is a green flower plant and a yellow flower plant, which I have there. And,
so what's interesting is obviously Carla's, just lift it up quickly, Carla. Carla's covering up 5 points from those plants, but she's replacing it with 42 points.
Okay, but it is 42 points, -2 for every seedling that is exposed. So at the moment, there's quite a deduction.
It's interesting. The victory points reward you for having different themed garden. Like I've got one in my hand that everyone knows I've got, which rewards me for having different edges to my garden. So you can see I've already started sticking out little bits all around it.
And my one requires me to have holes in my garden. Or smashing it.
Sticking the camera on it.
Alright, so now it goes over to me. And I totally forgot what I was doing.
Excellent.
Oh yes, I remember now. Right, so I need 2. Oh, I don't have enough. Right, so one of the actions you can do is obviously take a seedling card, or take a plant card, or like Carla did, plant a flower. But what I'm going to do is...
You can also take 3 resources of your choice, any combination of the 2.
But I just noticed there's a blue one over there. Do I need that green and pink?
Just throw it in.
But I can get the blue one that I'm missing from there. I am going to take that. I'm going to take that one.
Okay, so Jason gets a resource, and you have to slot it in when you place it, and you can't move it unless you use one of the 3 special cards that you get to use once a game.
So I'm going to put that there. It says that's a green one there. I know you can't see that because of the sun.
Your garden really is a sprawling mess, isn't it?
I am not of the green-fingered nature. And that's just going to go there. So I got the pink one facing that way. Let's see what
Okay, over to me. I'm going to spend 3 sun to take this top red one. So the way these decks work, they have a cost at the top in either water or sun, and the further down the deck you go, the more expensive they get. So you can see for this red one, I'm buying one that costs 3. I previously bought one that cost 2, but the last one in the deck costs 6 sun. But they're also worth more victory points. They're generally worth victory points equal to the resources you pay, just from a quick glance. Whether that's true for the whole game, I'm not certain, but I think it is. So if you intend to cover it up with a flower, it's best to buy it early game because you're not covering up too many victory points.
Yeah, you're covering up less
If you
points.
want them just as victory points later on, it's probably best to leave them revealed and use them. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to place it there.
Okay. What you got for me, Carla?
I am going to pick 3 resources. So 1 sun, 2 water.
Okay.
Oh, I haven't. Well, Jason hasn't. He's the one who did it.
It's
Could have
lies.
changed our guy goes completely there, couldn't it, Carl?
I'm camera working. Right, I'm going to buy a second level plant, which is going to be this one here, which requires me 2 blue or 2 water and 1 sun, which I'll add those in there. And I get this little tulip looking thing, which is going to go next to this one over there. So one of the rules, obviously, when you place plants, second level plants down, is that they have to overlap on 2 different seedling tiles. So that goes like that nicely, and I've got a beautiful little garden thing going on.
On my turn, am going to place a flower. So take a big flower. This one requires you to have 2 red plants to overlap, which I built on my last turn.
How many points are you covering up?
So I'm covering up 5 points with 24 points. Seems
positive
like a reasonable
19.
turn, yeah.
Right. The game obviously ends once either this deck runs out, which means we have massive sprawling gardens,
Yep.
or someone has placed their 4th flower.
Yep. And then you fill up the turn. So I was the first player, so Jason and Carl will always get the same number of turns that I've had.
Oh yes, first player marker. There you go.
Ah, thank you.
First player marker.
That wasn't the best hardest impression I've
No,
ever
that
had.
was not even. That was a tiger taking a.
Sounded like Darth Vader, kind of like getting something caught in his throat.
I want this this red and blue, so I have paid a resource to grab that from the second line and reveal a new one.
I'm gonna play a flower, so I'm gonna play this one, and as you can guess, it's gonna go over those 2 that I planted over there. So it's kind of like Mike's actually, which is just a straight out 24 pointer, and that's my turn.
I am going to sit here and think for a moment, looking at what my options are. They're not brilliant, to be frank. Swap a seedling. Or +1 plant. I think we've got to go for something. I think we will take this one because it comes with a 3 water and I can use it. So we'll move those up, put that one there, and then I just need to figure out where I'm placing it by looking at my cards in my hand. We need that one for that one for that one as well. But this is the most important one to get down, I think. So we're going to stick that there like so.
Alright. What do you got, Carla?
I think I'm going to take this one and place it there.
I'm just going to take that first one.
One of those for
Yeah.
you.
And it's going to go like that.
So I'm going to then pay 1 and take the double pink, and I'm going to slot it in there like that.
Interesting. I think I'm going to take 3 resources.
Cool.
So I'm going to take 2 and 1.
Just out of interest sake, I'm the only one who hasn't used any of our special tokens yet. Both of them have used one of the special deliveries, which clears out the Magodies. Alright, I was looking for either one of those. Any one of those is fine. Oh boy, that's going to be expensive.
Yeah, that's one. You see one you want up here, and 5 or 4 is a lot of resources to pay.
Oh, fine, I'm going to put that one there, put that one there, and I'm going to take this one. And then it's going to go like that over there.
Okay, well that's changed mine. So I was going to reach for 3 resources this turn, but I think because I can semi-use this card down here, I think because Jason's done that, I am going to take this one from there, and then I'm just going to again have a quick little think.
Resource City.
Going there, so we're not going to do that side of that, so we're going to do this side of this one. So we're going to stick him like so, I think. No, we're going to go like that for now.
Okay. What do you call it?
I'm sort of going to do the same thing really. So I can sort of use this. So there we go.
So these all move up.
And I am going to take...
oh, there's a lot of red down there.
I'm going to take some resources because I have zip. I have to spend them all. So I'm going to take 2 sun and 1 water.
So I'm looking around, and I think Carla's going to buy a blue very shortly, so I'm going to get in there before her and buy this nice cheap blue for 2 water and 2 sun, and use that to cover up that area there.
And he is right, I will be buying a blue, so 2 water and 1 sun.
Oh, it's the same cost, done.
I'll place that over there.
And I'm going to buy whatever this type of flower is. So it costs 1 of each.
I think they're colloquially known as an orange one.
Oh man, I just noticed. I've been trying to work on the 2 yellows, and I just noticed it has a red and yellow option. So annoying. So
I've never noticed that they have different options on them. God, blimey. Who knew?
That's going to go.
That's interesting. So is that... Let's just see what it is.
All of these have got that option.
Ah,
so,
okay. So they can go... Oh, I may have to...
They're more versatile.
Can we end that bit of the video for a minute? Because I'm going to have a bit of a think.
Okay, well, you guys get the general gist of what we're doing here.
We had a few rounds there.
We'll come back once we're finished just to show you how our final gardens look like and give you some more information on the Kickstarter.
Completely change around what I'm doing.
Alright, so we've finished. We've worked out the points. And we'll show you the gardens as well and then give you some information. And you can check it out. Right, so we're in. Oh, all right. So I'll show you my garden first, as that is the weakest garden apparently.
I mean, look at it, Jason.
So I got 3 of my flowers built, but as you can notice, I've just got seedlings everywhere. And I didn't get a chance. I had another flower which I was trying to work on.
Can we ask what your tactics were for spreading seedlings everywhere?
There wasn't any.
Wasn't it the holes?
Well, the thing is, originally I was trying to get... well, actually, I'm not going to get into it, but I made a massive mistake on this one as well. I was trying to get 2 blues and 2 pinks together, and when I put the things together, I realised that the pinks were facing the wrong way. It's like, oh, that was stupid.
Yeah, because you can only lay the flower cards when they're going over 2 cards. If you've got 2 greens next to each other that are part of the same card, like this one here, for instance, you can't put it over that. They've got to be 2 different cards.
So I started trying to build down on this one because my other one was pink and blue. So I changed over there. But also I was just literally just taking tiles what was available as opposed to... Yeah. And then I was going to try and build loads of flowers on them and score loads of points on that. But you guys stormed away from that. Anyway, I came in last place with 56 points. Now, I made over 50, so you might think that's good. It's not. This is Mike's garden.
So my tactics were... I had a basic simple scoring one. This one, I got extra points having green still showing. Unfortunately, just not enough green came up. Ironically, at the end, there are loads
I
of
got
green.
all of them.
Yeah. I also got extra points for having majority of certain colours showing. I scored for the reds and the yellows, but because Jason had such an expansive seed garden, it became useless for me because I just couldn't beat him on any of the seeds. So I was mainly going for this one, which gave me extra points for every distinct edge to my garden. So you can see I've got lots of little bits just sticking out
Jagged
to form
points,
extra
yeah.
edges. So that scored reasonable points. I scored 20 off of this, 15 off of this, only 12 off of that, and a basic 24. So that was reasonable, but when you get to Carla's, you'll see she focused much better than either of us.
You also notice that Mike's got all 4 flowers down. So
Yeah.
he's the one who ended the game, and he scored 76
I
points.
thought get them down early because I could see Carla's one was going to be worth a lot of points.
And this, how come my garden doesn't look like it's in real?
Well, that's because I don't do the gardening.
So Carla scored how many points?
96.
We won't say how much more than me, did they?
It's 40. Your age.
Ah! Alright, so this is Carla's garden, really efficiently built. Tell us a bit about it.
Well, I had my flower options were quite easy. I think we all had a group that had 24 in. So I had a basic blue flower patch here for 24 points, which was great.
They seem a
But-
really good, solid amount of points. And you always
Yeah.
want to get that down,
So
don't you?
that's quite nice. But one of my secondary options, I tried to go for things that I understood better. You know, the first few playthroughs, it's always easier to go for, you know, things that are a little bit more logical. And this one gives me 42 points, minus 2 points for every seedling. So any one of the brown patches that are open. So my original plot, my objective was to get this down, and as very few seedlings as possible showing. I did happen to, as I was going, get enough to actually build a third flower, which incidentally worked quite well. It had a option to essentially pilfer the objective of either the player to your right or the player to your left. So I just went for the 24 points from my player to my right or my left. So essentially I scored 48 points just on these two. And then I only had a minus 8 on my 42 points. So from there onwards, obviously, with
And you
the
scored
extra...
11 points.
Didn't need
as
you
well.
have a flower at all.
Yeah. So yeah, that was a good move. All right, so I'm not gonna. I'll just scan over that and then quickly work away. That's embarrassing. So Gartenbau is on Kickstarter at the moment. It's designed obviously by Alex Johns. So if you are interested and you like the sort of domino effect of it, then go follow the link, which will be in the description below. And that'll take you straight to the Kickstarter, and you can see what goals have been unlocked, what stretch goals have been unlocked, and you know, the quality of the components, the things, because obviously we've been using prototype stuff. So, and I'm sure they would love your support. So, thanks for watching. See you guys later.